Welcome to the YouTube channel, Contact Center Knowledge Hub, your one-stop solution for expert guidance, best practices, and actionable knowledge in the world of contact centers. Explore, learn, and enhance contact center skills. Let's see about correlation analysis forecasting method in depth. Let's begin with a concept overview of correlation analysis. Correlation analysis measures how strongly two variables move together, either in the same direction or in opposite directions. In forecasting, correlation is used to identify which factors or drivers have a meaningful relationship with a target metric such as call volume, average handle time, occupancy, or conversion rate. Think of correlation as the first analytical lens. It doesn't explain why something happens, but it tells us which variables are worth analyzing together. For example, when marketing spend increases, inbound calls often increase as well. This is a positive correlation. When absenteeism rises, service level typically falls, a negative correlation. And when average handle time increases, occupancy may decrease, another negative relationship. Each of these examples represents a correlation between two operational metrics. So the key takeaway is this. Correlation helps us quickly narrow down which relationships matter in contact center data, making it the starting point for deeper analysis, forecasting, and modeling. As we move forward, remember, correlation shows us where to look, but further analysis is needed to understand causation. Now let's understand the core principle of correlation. The correlation coefficient, represented by the letter R, quantifies the relationship between two variables, X and Y. The formula is R equals the covariance of X and Y divided by the standard deviation of X multiplied by the standard deviation of Y. Let's break that down. R is the correlation coefficient, and it always ranges from -1 to +1. A value close to +1 means X and Y move strongly in the same direction. A value close to -1 means they move strongly in opposite directions. And a value near 0 means there's little to no linear relationship. Covariance, written as cov of X and Y, measures whether the two variables tend to move together, but covariance alone is hard to compare across different scales. That's why we divide by sigma X and sigma Y, which are the standard deviations of X and Y. This normalization step converts covariance into a clean, standardized measure, so correlation becomes scale-free and comparable. In simple contact center terms, correlation tells us how tightly two metrics move together, regardless of whether one is measured in seconds, percentages, or counts. So this formula gives us a standardized score that answers. When X changes, how consistently does Y change along with it, and in which direction? Now let's learn how to interpret the correlation coefficient, R. Remember, R ranges from -1 to +1, and it tells us two things, direction and strength. If R equals +1.0, that's a perfect positive correlation. It means both variables rise and fall together, exactly, every time. If R is between +0.7 and +0.9, that indicates a strong positive correlation. The variables generally move together in the same direction, with a very consistent pattern. If R is between +0.3 and +0.6, that's a moderate positive correlation. There is some relationship, but it's partial. Other factors may also be influencing the outcome. If R is 0, there is no linear correlation. The variables move independently, with no consistent linear pattern. Now on the negative side. If R is between -0.3 and -0.6, that's a moderate negative correlation. As one variable increases, the other tends to decrease, but not perfectly. If R is between minus 0.7 and minus 0.9, that's a strong negative correlation. When one goes up, the other usually goes down in a very consistent way. And if R equals minus 1.0, that's a perfect negative correlation, an exact inverse relationship every time. The most important reminder is this. Correlation shows strength and direction, but it does not prove cause. So correlation helps us spot meaningful relationships, but we still need deeper analysis to confirm what is truly driving what. Now let's understand the purpose of correlation analysis in forecasting. Correlation analysis helps forecasters decide where to focus before building advanced models like regression, ARIMA, or econometric forecasts. First, it helps identify key drivers. By measuring how strongly variables move together, correlation highlights which factors are most likely to influence the target metric. Second, it helps eliminate weak or redundant predictors. For example, if two variables have a correlation above 0.9, they may be carrying the same information, and keeping both can distort the model. Third, correlation analysis helps us understand interdependencies between operational metrics. In a contact center, volume, AHT, service level, and staffing are tightly linked. Correlation makes those relationships visible. Fourth, it enables factor-sensitive, driver-based forecasting. Instead of projecting trends blindly, forecasts can respond to changes in the underlying drivers that matter most. Fifth, correlation helps diagnose anomalies. When a historically strong relationship suddenly weakens or reverses, it often signals a process change, behavioral shift, or operational issue that needs attention. So the core message is simple. Forecasting accuracy begins with understanding correlation, because correlation tells you which levers actually move your metric. Now let's move into the step-by-step process flow for correlation analysis in forecasting. Step 1 is choosing the target variable. Before you calculate any correlations, you must clearly define which KPI you want to forecast, because your entire driver search will revolve around this. In a contact center, common target variables include times call volume, times average handle time or AHT, times service level, times conversion rate, times cost per acquisition or CPA. Once the target KPI is selected, correlation analysis helps you identify which operational and business factors move with it and which do not. So remember, a strong correlation study starts with a clear forecasting goal. Pick the KPI first, then we find the driver. Step 2 is identifying potential drivers. Once you've selected the target KPI, the next step is to list and collect the variables that might influence it. In contact centers, typical drivers include times day of week patterns, times marketing promotions, times number of active customers or subscriber base, times bill due dates or important policy dates, times product or system outages that trigger spikes, times agent headcount and shrinkage, which can influence performance outcomes, times and broader economic factors such as inflation or interest rates. At this stage, the goal is not to prove anything yet. The goal is to build a wide driver list covering operational, customer, calendar, and economic variables, so the correlation analysis can reveal move with your target KPI. So think of step 2 as building your driver inventory, the raw material for the analysis that follows. Now let's continue the correlation analysis workflow with step 3 and step 4. Step 3 is collecting historical data. To calculate meaningful correlations, we need enough history, typically at least 30 to 50 time-aligned observations. These observations, weekly or monthly, But the key requirement is alignment. Your target KPI and every driver must be on the same timeline, with matching dates or periods, so we are comparing apples to apples. Next is step 4, calculate correlation coefficients. Compute the correlation coefficient, R, between the target variable Y and each candidate driver X. You can do this using tools like Excel, Python, R, or built-in analytics inside WFM platforms. The output is a list of R values that tells you which move strongly with the target KPI, which move weakly, and which move in the opposite direction. So by the end of step 4, you have a clear, quantified shortlist of drivers worth taking into forecasting models like regression, Aramax, or econometrics. Now let's complete the process with step 5 and step 6. Step 5 is evaluating the relationships. Once you've calculated correlation coefficients, you need to decide which drivers are actually useful. A common rule of thumb is, if the absolute value of R is greater than or equal to 0.5, that's a strong enough relationship to keep and explore further. If the absolute value of R is below 0.2, the relationship is usually weak, noisy, or inconsistent, and it's best to remove it from the driver set. You also check the direction. A positive correlation means the variables move in the same direction. A negative correlation means they move in opposite directions. This step turns raw R values into practical decisions: keep, remove, or investigate further. Next is step 6, validate and use correlation results in forecasting. Here, the strongest drivers become inputs to more advanced forecasting models, such as regression, econometric models, or Aramax. This is how correlation analysis improves forecasting accuracy. It helps you select drivers that genuinely move the target KPI, so your forecasting model becomes more sensitive to real operational levers. So remember, correlation analysis helps you identify the right drivers, and driver selection is often the difference between a forecast that simply follows history and a forecast that predicts change. Let's walk through a practical example of a correlation matrix for an inbound call center and see how to interpret it. The matrix shows correlations between call volume, marketing spend, customer base, self-service usage, and average handle time, or AHT. First, notice the relationship between marketing spend and call volume. The correlation value is 0.84, which is a strong positive correlation. This tells us that higher marketing spend is strongly associated with higher inbound call volume. Next, look at self-service usage and call volume. Here, the correlation is minus 0.62, which is a strong negative relationship. As self-service adoption increases, inbound calls decrease, a clear digital deflection effect. Now consider AHT and call volume. The correlation is 0.55, a moderate positive relationship. This suggests that during busy periods, calls tend to last slightly longer, likely due to queue pressure or more complex customer issues. The customer base also shows a positive correlation with call volume, reinforcing that growth in customers naturally drives demand. So what do we do with these insights? We use them to design the forecasting model. Based on this matrix, a logical driver-based equation for call volume would be: call volume equals a function of marketing spend, customer base, and self-service usage, with marketing and customer base having a positive effect and self-service having a negative effect. This example highlights the real value of correlation analysis. It transforms raw data into clear modeling decisions, guiding which drivers to include and in which direction before building regression or econometric forecasts. Now let's look at the visual tools used in correlation analysis and why they matter in forecasting. The first tool is the scatter plot. A scatter plot visually shows how two variables move relative to each other. It helps us quickly see whether the relationship is linear, non-linear, positive, negative, or simply random. The second tool is the correlation matrix heat map. This is a color-coded table that displays correlation values across many variables at once. Strong relationships stand out immediately, allowing analysts to spot key drivers in seconds. The third tool is the lagged correlation plot. This checks whether one variable leads another over time. For example, marketing spend today may correlate most strongly with call volume 1 week later, revealing a lag effect that is critical for forecasting accuracy. The fourth tool is the partial correlation chart. This shows the net relationship between two variables after removing the influence of other factors. It helps isolate true driver effects when multiple variables are interrelated. Together, these visual tools turn raw correlation numbers into clear, intuitive insights. And here's the key takeaway. Strong correlations, especially when combined with lag analysis, often uncover hidden lead-lag relationships, which are essential for effective driver-based forecasting. Now let's interpret correlation results specifically in a workforce management context, using practical examples. First, in volume forecasting. If correlation is plus 0.8 between campaign emails and inbound calls, it means campaigns strongly drive demand. So WFM should factor that driver into short-term forecasts and adjust staffing plans during campaign windows. Next, AHT analysis. If correlation is plus 0.6 between AHT and a negative relationship with tenure, it suggests that lower tenure, meaning newer agents, is associated with higher handle time. In simple terms, onboarding waves can inflate AHT, so WFM should plan capacity and performance expectations accordingly. Third, shrinkage modeling. If correlation is plus 0.7 between the month of the year and absenteeism, it indicates seasonality in shrinkage. That means certain months consistently show higher absence and must be planned for in schedules and hiring buffers. Fourth, service level correlation. If correlation is minus 0.75 between service level and call volume, it confirms a strong inverse relationship. As volume rises, service level drops, which reinforces the need for proactive staffing, overtime planning, or call deflection strategies during peak load. Finally, customer retention insights. If correlation is minus 0.65 between complaint calls and retention, it acts as an early warning signal. More complaint contacts are linked to lower retention, making complaint volume a predictive indicator for churn risk. So the overall takeaway is this. In WFM, correlation analysis is not just a statistical exercise. It directly supports forecasting, staffing, shrinkage planning, service level protection, and even customer retention strategy. Now let's review the advantages of correlation analysis in forecasting and workforce analytics. First, it's simple and fast. Correlation is quick to calculate, easy to visualize, and can be done in tools like Excel, Python, or WFM dashboards. Second, it reveals relationships. It helps identify which factors behave like true drivers, the variables that move meaningfully with your target KPI. Third, it forms the foundation for advanced modeling. Correlation guides variable selection for regression, Aramax, econometric models, and even AI-driven forecasting by narrowing the driver list to the strongest candidates. Fourth, it helps detect multicollinearity. When two predictors are highly correlated, they may duplicate the same information. Correlation analysis helps prevent redundancy and improves model stability. Fifth, it improves interpretability. Instead of only showing numbers, correlation helps explain metric movements in an intuitive way, making insights easier to communicate to operations leaders. So overall, correlation analysis is a high-impact first step. Fast, practical, and extremely useful for building better driver-based forecasts. Before we wrap up, it's important to understand the limitations of correlation analysis so it's used correctly. First, correlation does not equal causation. Two variables may move together simply by coincidence or because both are influenced by a third factor. Correlation alone cannot prove that one metric causes another. Second, correlation has a linear focus. It measures straight-line relationships, which means it can miss nonlinear patterns, where the relationship changes at different levels of the data. Third, correlation suffers from lag blindness. Instant correlations may appear weak even when a strong delayed effect exists, such as marketing today influencing call volume next week. Fourth, correlation is sensitive to outliers. A few extreme values can distort the correlation coefficient and create a misleading impression of strength or direction. Fifth, correlation does not predict by itself. It identifies relationships, but it must be combined with forecasting models to generate actual predictions. That's why correlation should be treated as a starting point, not the final answer. The best practice is clear. Combine correlation analysis with regression, econometric modeling, or AI-based feature importance to build forecasts that are both accurate and reliable. Let's now look at real-world contact center applications of correlation analysis and how it supports day-to-day and strategic decision-making. First, driver identification. Correlation helps identify which campaign types or initiatives most strongly trigger call surges, allowing teams to plan staffing and routing proactively. Second, cross-metric diagnosis. By correlating service level with occupancy or average handle time with full-time equivalents, analysts can quickly diagnose operational stress points and performance bottlenecks. Third, channel shift analysis. Correlation between chat adoption and voice volume decline helps quantify how digital channels are deflecting calls, supporting omni-channel capacity planning. Fourth, seasonality detection. When month or calendar indices show strong correlation with shrinkage or absenteeism, it confirms seasonal patterns that must be baked into workforce plans. Fifth, performance optimization. Correlation helps identify which operational metrics move alongside revenue or cost, highlighting where efficiency improvements deliver the greatest financial impact. The key takeaway is this. Correlation analysis forms the diagnostic backbone of contact center analytics, enabling both operational insight and financial forecasting. It helps teams see not just individual metrics, but how the system moves together. Now let's understand the role of AI and automation in correlation analysis and why it makes forecasting smarter. AI doesn't replace correlation. It extends it by making relationship discovery faster, deeper, and more adaptive. First, AI enables feature importance ranking. Techniques like SHAP and random forest importance help identify which drivers matter most, including nonlinear relationships that traditional correlation may miss. Second, AI uses autocorrelation and cross-correlation analysis to detect lagged relationships. This is critical in contact centers where drivers like campaigns, billing cycles, or outages often impact demand with a delay. Third, AI supports dynamic correlation tracking. Instead of assuming relationships stay constant, AI continuously monitors dependencies. For example, the correlation between chat volume and voice volume may weaken over time as digital adoption increases, and the model needs to adapt. Fourth, AI improves reliability through noise filtering. It helps isolate true signal from spurious correlation, reducing false conclusions caused by randomness, outliers, or temporary spikes. Here's a simple example of AI in action. AI learns that the correlation between marketing emails and inbound volume shifted from a 1-day lag to a 3-day lag. It automatically adjusts the forecast window so staffing and capacity plans reflect the new customer response pattern. So the takeaway is clear. AI transforms correlation analysis from a one-time diagnostic into a living monitoring system, continuously learning how contact center drivers change over time. Let's close by understanding the economic and operational implications of correlation analysis in contact centers. First, it reduces forecast error. By selecting the correct predictors, correlation ensures forecasting models focus on variables that genuinely move the outcomes. Second, it improves staffing accuracy. When the right factors are included, workforce plans align more closely with real demand drivers, reducing both understaffing and overstaffing risk. Third, correlation analysis enhances budget forecasting. Identifying sensitivity, for example, how a 1 lakh rupee increase in marketing spend leads to an 8% rise in calls, leaders can forecast costs and ROI with greater precision. Fourth, it strengthens client confidence. Transparent, data-backed relationships make forecasts plain and defend, especially in client reviews and executive discussions. So the key message is this. Correlation analysis is the foundation of credible, defensible forecasts. It ensures that planning decisions are not based on assumptions, but on evidence. Let's review the key metrics and outputs used in correlation analysis and what each one tells us in practice. First, Pearson's R. This is the most commonly used correlation metric. It measures the strength and direction of a linear relationship between two variables, such as call volume and marketing spend. Second, Spearman's Rho. This is a rank-based correlation measure. It's useful when relationships are monotonic but not perfectly linear, for example, when a metric consistently increases with another, but not at a constant rate. Third, the p-value. The p-value tests statistical significance. It helps determine whether the observed correlation is likely real or could have occurred by random chance, especially important when working with smaller datasets. Fourth, R-squared. This is simply the square of Pearson's R. It represents the percentage of variance in the target metric explained by a driver, making it easier to communicate impact in business terms. Finally, cross-correlation. This metric detects lead-lag relationships between variables. It tells us whether a driver impacts the target immediately or after a delay, which is critical for timing forecasts, staffing plans, and campaign impact analysis. Together, these metrics turn correlation analysis into a practical forecasting toolkit, helping analysts understand strength, significance, timing, and business relevance of each driver. And that's what makes correlation analysis so powerful. It doesn't just show relationships, it shows how, when, and how much they matter. Let's place correlation analysis within the end-to-end forecasting workflow. At the data exploration stage, correlation is used to detect the strongest drivers of change. It helps analysts quickly understand which variables move most closely with the target KPI. Next, during model selection, correlation guides the choice of forecasting approach. Strong driver relationships may point toward regression or econometric models, while weaker driver influence may favor time series methods like ARIMA or a hybrid of both. Then comes model validation. Correlation is revisited to confirm that expected relationships still hold. If historically strong correlations suddenly weaken or flip, it's a signal that the model assumptions need review. After forecasting, we enter the post-forecast review stage. Here, correlation analysis helps detect relationship drift, for example, whether a driver that once strongly influenced volume is losing impact over time. So the analytics pipeline flows like this. Correlation leads to regression, regression leads to forecasting, and correlation comes back again for validation. In short, correlation is not a one-time step, it's a continuous quality check across the entire forecasting life cycle. Let's conclude with the key takeaways on correlation analysis. First, the definition. Correlation measures how two metrics move together, capturing both strength and direction of the relationship. Second, the range. Correlation values lie between -1 and +1. Negative values indicate an inverse relationship, while positive values indicate a direct relationship. Third, the purpose. Correlation helps identify influential drivers and detect multicollinearity before building forecasting models, ensuring only meaningful variables move forward. Fourth, the advantages. Correlation is simple, fast, intuitive, and strongly data-driven, making it ideal for early-stage analysis and stakeholder communication. Fifth, the limitations. Correlation does not imply causation, and it may miss nonlinear patterns or delayed effects if used alone. Sixth, the role of AI. AI enhances correlation by automatically detecting dynamic, nonlinear, and lagged relationships, keeping insights relevant as behavior evolves. Finally, the outcome. Correlation analysis enables stronger, factor-based, and transparent forecasts, improving predictions for call volume, average handle time, service level, and cost. And remember this closing thought. Correlation is the first conversation between your data points, revealing who moves together, who opposes, and who stays silent. The better you listen, the smarter your forecast becomes. Thanks for watching my YouTube channel, Contact Center Knowledge Hub. If you found this helpful, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more insights. See you in the next video.